15 minutes.
Columbo's a show I've watched. It was my favorite show since I was 5 years old. My dad explained it to me when I was like 5. And I was like, oh, it's my favorite show.
5? That's such a great... That's great.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
I think honestly it's like anything. It's the way you're introduced to something.
Introduced, you say? The introduction to this filthy Armenian adventure was recorded from my bed late in the night of Thursday, June 4, as a slow-motion crime was underway in that great but very troubled city I call home. I will comment on that crime with a cooler head at a later date. But at least I can provide a little record of what it feels like to witness such a crime in real time, since it was out of a similar feeling that I started this podcast, Filthy Armenian Adventures. The one small comfort in feeling it all over again a half-decade later is how perfectly it introduces Columbo. How ideally it sets up the enduring appeal of that opulent detective show spanning 5 decades of L.A. in an Agatha Christie way. Fellow Columbophile Casey Flynn, grandson of Milo Janus, one of Columbo's nastiest foes, joins me in Griffith Park for an appreciation of the show's history and formula. And that part was recorded on Monday, June the 8th. At the end of this patrons-only episode, I will return for a final word on the meaning and character of Columbo. And that part is recorded tonight, June 10. Dates and details matter to a guy like Columbo, first name unknown, when he's trying to piece together how something unconscionable might have happened.
Well, you're in bed with Alec. I'm trying to tuck myself in here.
Who is it?
You know, it's been a tense couple nights because of the dreadful post-election bullshit that is giving me PTSD to 2020. It is, and it's reaching the point where I have to press pause on my, existence and be like, okay, you gotta calm down. You're getting a little angry now. You're getting pretty angry. What can you do with this anger? There's a lot you can do with this anger, but just calm down for the moment. And so, it's in total uncertainty here. There's an endless count snail's pace count underway with all of a sudden projections that Spencer Pratt, who is leading by the third place candidate by a mile at close of election, is projected to fall behind by the time a mysterious number of ballots are counted after a mysterious period of time. Just the most, and other parts of and of course the state election too is in that condition, but it's less perilous because it seems like no matter what, it seems like at least one alternative candidate will make it through, the Republican Steve Hilton. But here, we're being told that it's a fait accompli, that the system has no way of firing its worst leader of all time who burned the entire city down. That's what they're trying to tell us is the case here. And that's, it's enough to keep you up at night. If you're not a ruthless, fly on the wall. nevertheless, I'm just thinking like, damn, I'm thinking of all the ways it personally offends me. If there isn't even if not even the opportunity is allowed to have a full campaign for the site of the city that's been completely destroyed, for the aspirations of the city that are completely destroyed, for a century of pride in the city that's completely destroyed, more than a century. Just to have no place for that in the system, despite the most pure-hearted candidate you could possibly imagine. If you have an imagination, and then I think about how much it offends me, that people were unable to see that. Not just the usual suspects who are blinded by political brainwashing and idiocy, not just them. And in fairness, we kept hearing about all these people who were looking beyond their partisan blinders for this and supporting the one obvious candidate. There were people who were doing that. But the fact that all across the aisle, in overall, you would find people who are just refusing to like this guy. And I'm just thinking, your taste as a human being to not like this guy in this universe, in this timeline, in this universe, and this against, in the context of someone who's trying to save their city for real, just to look down on him as in that snobbish way. That's such a failure to me of taste, and I think honestly of character. I think it's a failure of character, and that's not to say I don't care. I don't care. It's not to say that we all have our types of people that we like to hang out with. We all have our types of people that we like to fuck. We all have our types of people. Blah blah blah. We like to get married to, get divorced from, but to not be able to go beyond that, your personal comfort zone with a certain personality type or whatever, to not be able to think beyond that, to me is such a failure of imagination that it makes me just makes me so sad. I just see people with it makes me sad. It's just, there's something missing, because it just shows a lack of preparedness for the war that we're in, the war for the human spirit, the war for humanity. It just shows such a, you have to be able to develop some arms to fight in that war. You can't just fight in it from your armchair. You can't just be you can't just pretend that there's no war. There is a war. It's for the destiny of mankind. And one of the stages of that war is the city. The city. That thing that man built in the fucking wilderness due to his genius, due to his indomitable courage, due to his imagination, due to his will, due to his sense of romance and adventure. That the city. Think of a grander or more artistic achievement in the history of mankind than the city. I'm not going to lecture you about that shit, but the point is, it's you got to be able to, you have to care. You have to recognize what I'm saying. You have to be able to recognize the city as this monument to mankind. It's kind of like, man's little backyard, if you will. His childhood bedroom is the city. To be, there are people who think that, oh, fuck the city. You got to just move out into the to get some farmland. It's like, okay, fine. It's fine if you want to live in nature, that's great. If you want to have a farm, knock yourself out. Sounds like a fun time, but that's not an you're just abandoning more of humanity. You're just abandoning more. You're just saying, cities, they don't work. Okay, well, okay. What do you have that's better? You don't have anything that's better. There are tech people who think that they can put up a designer city. We've all been to them. They all suck. That's not going to happen. You have to respect the achievement. And I don't know. I just it makes me sad. It makes me sad, man. It's like, I'm offended on the behalf of so many. And, it's not like I didn't have high hopes for this more than a month ago or anything. It's not like, it's not like I knew that, I was in the position of the eternal dread before the debate where it was clear that Spencer Pratt took this task very as seriously as he possibly could. Up until that point, I just assumed that, okay, we're just trotting along into, his reminder, his effort, his reminder of what it would be like to have a human being at the helm instead of whatever it is we currently have, which is a pixelated AI shit fuck system that's brown at the top by necessity, has to be represented in the form of a brown woman for some reason. That's the form it must take for some reason. And it's just shit. It's just nothing. It's just this nothing kind of thing. And that there's no human being left to run it. And that we're not capable of replacing a failed leader with a human being. Even when that's the obvious two sides of the matter. A failed little glitch in the system who has literally no history on the internet prior to 2006. It's all been wiped. This lesbian glitch on the one hand, who's absolutely bereft of intelligence, and on the other hand, a human being, a man, a ambitious one, heart clearly in the right place, and also he has a brain and charisma and is doing all the right things and staying out of exactly what he needs to stay out of, all the retail boutique little, political things that people used to build their shitty little politician careers on, staying out of all of it, just focusing on what matters to the moment at hand, to the place at hand, to the city, to his responsibility to his family and his neighbors. That basic, remember that old thing, that old canard, that thing. So, the fact that there's nothing there, that even when the entire city burns down, there's nothing, and in this condition of ideological poisoning and of systemic corruption and of, shit hands in the crap pot, holy shit. I'm just so offended and just so sad. I'm just so sad. I don't care about getting stabbed by a vagrant. I don't care about I don't care. I care about that stuff, obviously, but that's not why I'm that's not what keeps me up at night. I don't stay up at night for fear of the house burning down this time, not missing out on this one because we're so far, we got lucky twice in a row with my mom, and losing things, and that's not what keeps me up at night. That's the on paper concern that keeps you up at the day. That's the financial realm, that's the practical realm. What keeps me up is just the spiritual decay, not to use a highfalutin phrase, but the pure spiritual decay of the human spirit necessary to be okay with all this shit. And to, want more of it, in fact. just what that means, you know. And to me, that is just not supposed to be a partisan concern. Just basic human fucking decency. Damn. It's annoying. Anyway, maybe things will turn around in the next few days. I'm just, unfortunately, PTSD has me in a situation where I'm fearing the worst, and you know, more than uncomfortable with expecting the worst. And it's just, you know. But luckily, I have Columbo. I have Columbo, who proved to be the ultimate consolation to my spirit when this happened in 2020. And feels like he's, you know, it's a kind of this bizarro mirror version of what's happening in our city, because in Columbo you have a city that works thanks to the genius and extremely hard work and courage and creativity of a man who so many people underestimate and misunderstand and look down on, you know, because of his manners. Men occasionally exhibiting manners of their own idiosyncratic kind, and it shows so much of the city, and it shows so much opulence and wealth in the city, which is its main, you know, territory of storyline. It shows so many different things that it shows like it's also kind of this kind of, it works as this like revelation of affluence and prosperity, you know, like it depicts prosperity, that all these things are possible, that it's possible to be all these different things: wine guy, TV guy, football guy, all these different, art guy, whatever guy, fashion, you know, scientist, there's like a AI or a robot guy, and like all these different things, and having a really like rich and dignified life, living in these beautiful houses, beautiful colors, in all different terrains of LA, by the ocean, in the hills, wherever the hell. It shows off this gorgeous city, you know, of endless opportunity, as well as evil. And it's just the way it shows all that, and the way it's like, oh God, thank God for Columbo. At least we have him. Oh, just one more thing.
Hey, this is your host, Alec Mohibian, with a quick message before we continue. Based in that great but very troubled place, Hollywood, California, Filthy Armenian Adventures is an interdimensional travel program that takes you deep into the cultural mysteries of our time. In search of truth, in search of gold, in search of lost friends and unsung heroes, in search of John Galt's motor. This show is your antidote to the black pill. This is your guide to the places, the personalities, the ideas and creations the enemies of man don't want you to know. This is your techno-noir investigation into the good, the evil, and the God hiding under our noise. This is where you get the news before it breaks, before it blows, before it burns. The show is supported entirely by patrons at patreon.com/filthyarmenian. As a patron, you get access to twice as many adventures, including the most important ones, the ones with the real facts. Plus, regular brief smoke break spiritual reports on topics of the day. As a patron, you also get exclusive access to our Smash live events. Ask anyone who's attended one, and they will tell you it's an experience you'll never forget. It's very easy to keep Filthy Armenian Adventures alive. You can still listen to the show on your favorite app like Spotify or Apple, and you can do so with the pride that you're putting a little bit of money where your soul is. More patrons means more fuel, more topics, more investigations, more miracles, more secret locations, and forbidden territories around the world, and the world that is Los Angeles, our post-apocalyptic headquarters. It means we'll be able to track down more enchanting figures in the landscape, dare them to abandon their masks, and join our quest out of the darkness and into a golden age. Patreon.com/filthyarmenian. Thank you for being one of the good ones, and enjoy the show. That is all for the free portion of this episode. For the rest of this appreciation of Columbo, including my final word, it's over 2 hours long. Patreon.com/filthyarmenian. This is one of those paywalled episodes. About half of them are. And what can I say? If you value the work that I do, and if you get twice as much of it, and if you value the mission, you can support it. You can keep it going. It's not that complicated. It's not that much. It starts at $5 a month. It's basically nothing at this point in the flat circle. So I hope to see you on the other side of the paywall. It is worth it. And I do thank you for listening. I do thank you for spreading the word to whoever. Get them on. I'll, send them your favorite episode. I do appreciate it. We need each other. Patreon.com/filthyarmenian. Bye-bye.